Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another stupendous episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Deadstream. One word. Remember that when you're searching for it. One word. Joining me tonight, first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome Mr. John Schnars to the show.
Hello, Eric.
The man who last week told me, no, there's other Schnarses. I met some in New York. They're my cousins.
No, they're like distant cousins.
It doesn't make a difference. They're still related to you. There's no one else in the world named Schnars. There's one family tree of Schnarses. They go all the way back to the motherland, and that's it.
It's possible. Next
up on the show from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight from the West Coast, I think the Bay Area, I believe. Please welcome Matilda back to the show.
Hey there.
Matilda's joining us hot off of a knitting retreat, so it's pretty exciting.
That's right, because I'm young and fun.
That's right.
Where did you retreat to? Like, is it like you're like looking at scenery and knitting? Is that like...
Yeah, so we're up in, I live in the Bay Area, so woolens are not necessary really. So I have to go somewhere colder to feel like I'm doing something. So it's up in the San Juan Islands off of Washington State, like almost Canada. Yeah. But really beautiful this time of year.
I could go for a knitting retreat right now. I'm like, any kind of retreat, really.
Mm-hmm. It sounds relaxing as all get out.
Yeah. It was great. We had a yarn guest who lectured us about sheep one night. It was
great. Yarn guest. Class, wow. This evening, we have a speaker on yarn coming through. Well, should be a rousing good time.
Matilda, we were talking pre-show, and Eric gives me a hard time about my country house. Our neighbor is a barn, and they have several sheep.
Your neighbor is a barn?
Well, it's like, it's called the White Barn. Like, it actually is like a name on the side of the barn. It says White Barn. They have a self-serve yarn store called the Yarn Shack, where you go. It's open all the time. It's just like literally, it's like one of these like sheds that you would buy and put in your backyard. They like niced it up a little bit, and it's just like their handmade yarn that you go awesome. And there's like, here are my PayPal and Venmo.
For some reason,
details.
when you said self-serve yarn, I picture you just walk in and you're shearing and like doing it yourself.
I mean, maybe they do the shearing at some point. Like we haven't been there for a full year, like a cycle of sheep. But my daughters, like I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old is like desperate to learn how to knit because she just wants to go to the yarn shack, get yarn, and knit. And I was sort of like, I'm like, you're happy for you to learn.
Anything that keeps a 6-year-old occupied, do it.
Yeah. Totally.
It brought to mind to me the cold open of Letterkenny, which probably none of you are familiar with, but they're always open the show with the guys working at the Yarn Shack the other day.
Love a good yarn shack.
No one works there though at this one.
All right.
I know the honor system yarn store is dangerous. I feel like that could.
Yeah.
Nah, you
would run wild.
What is
be a heist?
Yeah. What is a knitter called? Like, what's a hardcore knitting? There must be some kind of nickname, right?
I don't know. Just knitters.
Yarn jockey.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Got to be some cutesy nickname. All right, let's move on here. Let us take a quick break and review Deadstream.
This is it, Shudder. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
Breaking news, John. Someone not on the show just texted me a link to the White Barn Farm sheep and wool store. It's looking pretty fancy, John. This is where you live out here in this countryside.
It could be the one. I don't know.
Well, no, to live there, I guess you'd actually have to live there. This is where you vacay.
It's where we weekend most of the time.
He pays the property taxes. He can count it.
Mm-hmm.
I stand out in the backyard and look at the sheep while I drink my morning coffee.
Mm-hmm. So. Sometimes on the weekend, I watch TV in the living room. That's how I get away and relax, I have another question for you this evening, John. Have you ever
like
genuinely sat and watched Twitch before?
Yes, but not for a long amount of time.
When you say that long amount of time in one sitting, you mean?
Honestly, the most amount of video game streaming / playing I've watched, I think, is you playing. Like you were doing different streaming watches.
Yeah, I did
for
a couple
while.
like any old NES games on our YouTube channel. That stuff's still up there. It's ancient at this point, but
yeah. There was like a bunch of horror ones. Yeah, you even played. There was like a game that I was thinking about.
Monster Party.
It's
maybe?
like Hollywood or no, it's like Miami something. Like you're like a person with a gun. You're just like killing a bunch of people.
Interesting.
Is that the one where they go through the parties in the animal mask?
Yeah.
I you know what I streamed a couple times was Party Hard, which is a modern PC game where you play. This is Matilda. You'll love this. You play a person who is being kept up. It's like a 2D, like top down kind of like pixel game, and you're a person who can't sleep because your neighbors are throwing a party. And so you look like your little pixel guy looks like Michael Myers, and your job is to go to the house and like kill everyone. But you got to do it without anybody else noticing. And so you're trying to like set traps, and like if you catch someone in a room by themselves, you can kill them and hide the body. But you got to do it without getting like arrested by the cops. It's pretty amazing.
So your motivating factor is like people are breaking the social contract
Yes.
and you're pissed?
Yeah, to murder people that are keeping you awake. Yeah. Because I have 1,000% had laid in bed awake because of a party and had fantasies about just blowing people away.
Whoever was next door.
Oh, okay. Well, just genuinely interested, John, because this movie is very Twitch-like. Like this platform that this guy is on is very Twitch-like. So I wondered. I also was feeling for Casey, who infamously, I know it's different now, but infamously sat down for Unfriended and 10 minutes in looked over to his wife and was like, is this whole movie on Skype? Like what? And like lost his mind and was angry the rest of the movie.
I did have a slight twitch at the beginning of this movie.
Because there's a moment where it like settles into the like a twitchy interface, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, John, please bring us the word of the day.
We're taking a little detour on my formal word of the day rules. Today's word, stream sniping. It's not a word, it's 2 words. It's more of a concept. I was texting Eric and Casey before the show for like what's like some jargon related to streaming, because as we've just documented, I don't know the jargon. I thought this was a good one. So here I'm going to be quoting from an article on howtogeek.com. Noted website. What is stream sniping? From September 12th, 2021. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Stream sniping has become a real problem. So what exactly does it entail, and what can be done about it? This is an actual article. And I'll just stop with this definition. What is stream sniping? Stream sniping is the act of using someone's live stream against them. For example, in a competitive multiplayer game, knowing where an opponent is can allow you to sneak up on or flank them simply by watching their stream to work out exactly where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Stream sniping.
It's an epidemic,
I mean, I'm
John.
familiar with sniping. Like, I played GoldenEye a lot.
Yeah, sniping is a term of art in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. It like totally makes sense.
So if you're watching a big streamer that plays like a shooter or something, they will oftentimes like hide their screen on Twitch while they're queuing up, so that to try to like fake, so that people can't queue, because literally people will be watch, and when they see the person hit like play, because when you hit play on those games, what it's doing is then pinging to see who's there to play with. If you hit at the same time and you're in a similar arena, like area of the country, like you're liable to get on the same ad. Like it's possible. Yeah. And then, like lots of kiddies, it's like they will do and try to kill the streamer and record it and then upload it to YouTube and be like, I killed blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild out there.
Matilda, you ever wonder what you're missing out on when you're not watching these streams?
I've
only watched them for like friends who DJ for like Zoom parties.
So I watched an enormous amount of Twitch between like 2018 and 2020. I guess I still watched some in 2020, but it got less. I used to watch a lot of Fortnite. I used to watch. And it's just like the one cool thing in the pandemic, to what Matilda's saying, is you started seeing more streams. I'm saying like this movie, like what they call IRL streams, not like a found footage haunted movie, but people like artists will live stream drawing. People live stream like doing crafting stuff. People like I follow a couple bands on Twitch that will just perform live once a week, which is kind of a cool thing. 'Cause a lot of bands turn to it when they just couldn't go out and perform anymore because of COVID.
Isn't the like corollary, like I don't know this world at all, but like isn't the corollary for this guy like Mr. Beast or whatever he's called, like, or
yeah? So he's 1,000% a YouTuber personality. The reason why I bring Twitch into it is because like the interface that he's using is very Twitch.
Yeah. They called it live vid or something.
Live vid, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was thrown off, notably all the other streams.
Right. But yeah, personality wise, this dude gives mega like early YouTuber vibes.
Yeah. What's the Paul brother, like the one who's like a boxer?
Yeah.
Now?
Not dissimilar. Tell me about Deadstream, John.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't know much about this movie. Casey, I think, flagged this for us a couple weeks back. It's a Shudder joint right now. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a Shudder. It does say Shudder original, so
yeah.
Shudder original. Directed by Joseph Winter and Vanessa Winter, presumably a couple, maybe brother and sister. They're a couple. Okay. Mm-hmm. Joseph, also the main character. Which makes sense now in retrospect. I didn't know that going in. And yeah, as Eric sort of teed up, so Joseph Winter plays Sean Ruddy. What's the name of Sean's channel? Now I'm like embarrassed. I can't remember.
The Wrath of Sean.
The Wrath of Sean. So he is like well-known or somewhat successful streamer. He's like a dare streamer. Like he like films himself like doing dumb shit, or debunking thing, like just whatever. He's that kind of, like, we've referenced a couple of people, the Pauls, like the Mr. Beast, whatever. I'm sure there are literally hundreds or thousands better examples than what I'm giving you, but the movie starts with him it gives you a little bit of backstory. It's sort of him doing this. There's like a intro to the main stream that he's going to do, but it's like a video of him apologizing or going through this whole apology thing for something that it's never exactly explained exactly what happened, but he was kicked off all the platforms. He was sort of deplatformed. His sponsors all abandoned him. He was living in his car. So this is, in part, the film is set around his comeback. He sort of like made the comeback, and now he's going to do this thing. So this big stunt that he's doing, he's going to go spend the night in a haunted house. It's like a known haunted house, but he also doesn't exactly tell everyone where it is because he doesn't want to be sort of stream sniped, which does come into play a little bit. So the film, it's a first person film. It is shown through the perspective of someone watching this stream, and he shows up, parks his car. He removes the spark plugs because he's being clever and like wants to sort of, he's pot committed. He's not going to be able to leave. He throws those into the woods. He then goes into this house, locks the door, throws that key down a like vent, whatever. And he goes around the house and he's sort of setting up different cameras. And to Eric's point, this is establishing all of the different camera angles that we're going to get to experience through the found footage and through this stream. But in doing that, he's also sort of giving us the backstory around the house. From there, it's sort of just like haunted house silliness and craziness. And like we can kind of unravel the plot to the extent that matters. But I don't know that it 100% does. I should say, like, it's a comedy. It's sort of that wasn't 100% clear out of the gate, although it's
pretty horror-y, but yeah, it's definitely horror comedy.
No, well, he's so ridiculous that you have to laugh at him sort of initially, and we can talk about the sort of impact of the main character on sort of how you enter this film. But it's not like out and out comedy. It does go there though, right? Like there's some, I mean, we'll talk about it, but it kind of gets to that point. So yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, Matilda, welcome back. What'd you think?
Thanks. I was excited to watch this one when I watched it a couple months ago. This was the second watch for me, but Rachel, my fellow zombie girl, saw this at South by Southwest. Like, was that March? And was like, this is better than it has any right to be, really. Like, this one's really fun. And it was true. And it held up on a second watch. One of my favorite horror experiences is that, you know how other languages sometimes have a word for a combination emotion? I want a word for like when you're both recoiling and laughing at the same time. And this has a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
This has a lot of gross out. Like there's something about the live stream super close up that works really well here with the practical effects. It has good throwback 80s practical effects. And I think the use of the technology is actually pretty great in this one. So I had a great time.
Can I just ask a question to this point? Because I agree. Is the rig that he's using like a thing that people use? Like, is that like a known? He has this like setup where he's wearing like a backpack.
Good question.
It has like a hook over his arm, so he has there's like a.
I mean, it felt realistic enough. It's not necessarily a thing I'm familiar with, but there are remote, like satellite kind of setups like that.
Yeah, they used to use those setups in. There was an MTV show where they would send people into like a haunted factory or something like that. They all had rigs like that too.
Well, I'm talking about the one that he's wearing. So he has like the direct address camera. That okay. Yeah. Not the like setting cameras up in the walls. Like whatever. That tracks for me. I wasn't surprised, but okay.
Casey.
Yeah, especially when he moves those cameras at the end, which is fun.
Yeah. I ended up enjoying this movie a lot. I wasn't sure. I didn't know much about it going in, but I'd heard a lot of people compare this to Evil Dead and talk and like refer to it as a first-person Evil Dead. And having watched this twice now, I really see where they're coming from. There is something about the way this is shot that really gives it a strong feel of Evil Dead. It's kind of frenetic, especially those first-person shots and stuff, which were always big in Evil Dead, like when you'd see the spirit coming through the woods and stuff like that. It just felt a lot like that. Sean is definitely an acquired taste, but it's a good sign when somebody can annoy you that much at the beginning of the movie and you're kind of rooting for him at the end and hoping for him to get through. It was a nice turn. They grew and developed that character very well, and I enjoyed it a lot. The humor's really good, spot on. As a first-person movie, I really enjoyed this. I was really excited the first time I watched this, and that's when I first texted Eric and Schnars that we needed to watch this, because I think the way that they set up the cameras in this first-person movie and explain it out is super clever and fixes a lot of problems with first-person movies, because you know exactly where all the camera angles are coming for in this movie. And I think it's kind of a game changer for a first-person horror, because it takes out that element of, well, how the hell did they get that shot? Because they're kind of explaining to you. And even if they didn't show him showing up that certain shot, you could just buy into that's another one of his cams. I really enjoyed the humor in this, and it got funnier as it went, and the fact that he was still sticking to his guns, to his character's guns, like when he made the spear cam and the mill dead cam, etc. later on. Dude, I just thought it was hilarious.
When when he's in the shit and he still takes time to give his cameras dumb nicknames, there's something I found really funny about that.
And there's
like
a lot of one-liners coming
cam.
out of Sean in this movie that cracks me up. As things are going bananas in this movie and it starts to get more and more chaotic, just those little one-liners he's dropping where he comes around the corner and sees something and says, "Ah, shit! Oh, that's a strike." Those little things always crack me up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a well-written movie. It's fun, and it was a good time to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. This thing is, listen, it's established. I like a good found footage movie,
You're
John.
in the bag
Like,
for found footage.
I am in many ways the audience for this movie. I also I love, because I like found footage so much, and I think it's here to stay. It's literally, if you think of like Cannibal Holocaust as being one of the first examples of it, we've gone at this point from, that was a film crew shooting in like 16 millimeter. The Blair Witch was like people shooting on high 8s, and I mean, they had a 16 millimeter too, but what I'm saying is I really enjoy watching the evolution of found footage, and as a really natural part of that, it's gonna just keep exploring new technology because this video technology is only gonna get crazier. Like when cameras are so ubiquitous, we've all got them in our eyeballs or our glasses. Like it's only gonna get crazier, and I enjoy seeing it be sort of reinterpreted for new generations, and that's kind of what this feels like in a lot of ways. In the way that something like Unfriended felt like that, whatever that was, 5 or 6 years ago. This Sean, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really interesting tightrope he's walking because, man, is he obnoxious. But he's like intentionally obnoxious, right? Because he's modeling this kind of particular YouTuber personality. And I agree, like, what's impressive is he's also really funny. Like, it's very knowing about that kind of personality and observant and sort of satirizing that personality in a way that's very funny. Some of that comes into play in even like serious moments of the movie, like when he kind of pulls back on his apology during like one of the really like crazy scenes. Really, my biggest laugh of the movie is really early on when he says shit for the first time, and then he's like, "Oh God, don't demonetize me. I'm sorry." And then he goes. Wait, what the hell did he say? He's like, I'm missing the first part. I texted it to you earlier. He says, "This room smells like my AH," which like was so funny because like that's not a euphemism you hear. So it took me a second to be like, what is he? Oh. Yeah. But I actually think this guy's comedic timing is like pretty good. And I think the lines are pretty spot on.
Yeah, it was from your text, Eric. It was holy F. This room smells like my AH.
Holy F, yeah. And like I think the other thing this movie does is it just has a lot of elements. So it's not just this guy running around and screaming for an hour and a half. It sort of combines a found footage horror film with elements that people really love from true crime shows. There's like mythos to like murders that have happened and stuff that he gets into them the way a true crime host would, where he like is practically reading a printout from Wikipedia or something. But what but like people love that shit, and what it does is it adds color to the story. And then once the actual scares start, and we'll drop like a spoiler alert, but like once it turns on a dime and gets real crazy, like really fast. I really loved this when this girl shows up because you just know something's up with her from the beginning. Like the actress is playing it just this side of conspicuous.
Yeah.
That like, something's going on. And pretty early on, I was like, oh, this chick's dead. She dead. Just watch. And then when she goes crazy, like I just love that the movie, when it comes to the scares, it just commits to cranking the dial up to 11. I mean, it almost... Some of these scenes are like WWE ghost fighting, like Insidious 3 ghost fighting style, but fun. So like those encounters become a ton of fun. It was a smart idea to have this safe room because it sort of gives him a place to kind of go back to and recoup and talk to the audience. And by having cameras in every room, it gives you a real sense of physical space of what this house is. And they do a really good job of juggling that with the different angles, cutting back and forth. So, like spatially, I think it works really well. It's just, it's fun is what this movie is. And some of those jump scares really got me. Like one of the ones where he just moves or something moves and she's right in his face. Like I screamed, like legit.
Did you? So like with that safe room, I felt like a physical relief when he set up when he first got up there and set up that safe room and turned on that big light. I don't know why, but he turned on that big light and I'm like, okay, this is my safe room too.
And it's smart because then what it does is it gives you moments where the whole thing can breathe. You get him back there, and then those moments provide contrast to then when it's all like cranked up again.
I realize I broke up the order of operations here, but can I go
I'm sorry, John.
quickly?
I was confused because you were talking and I zoned out, and I thought you went.
I understand. I also really like this movie, and I'm always skeptical. Like first person stuff, I come in, you're starting from like a deep hole. But Casey, you were 100% right. You sort of when you were trying to sell it through. Where like, look, they actually do a good job. They explain the camera angles, which is like my biggest gripe.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Casey was worried that John wasn't going to be okay with the camera angles.
No, I was excited to hear what John said because I think they finally did it right. I wanted to hear him acknowledge that.
And look, I think I'm on record. I mean, we've done a lot of these at this point. Like, I do like some of them. Like, some of them I like, and some of them I think are fucking lazy, and it upsets me. This is like one of the best, I think.
Yeah. When you say lazy, I watched VHS 99 lately. It's one of in the exact way you're talking about, one of the laziest found footage movies I've ever seen.
So there you go. I like it. I'm already angry, and I've never even seen it. So, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. Where was it? It was. I did not realize it was a comedy. So I was watching it, and I'm kind of like, this guy's annoying. Like, he's really. But I was sort of like, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, and I, it's obvious that he's doing a parody, but I think, as Eric, you were sort of saying, like, it's pretty good. Like, I don't know, like, I don't watch this shit, but like, it felt believable. Like, it felt like he had watched a lot of YouTube streamers and was sort of trying to pull that stuff in.
We didn't even mention the comments, which are a really great part.
Yeah. Well, so I want to come back to that because that was one of my favorite jokes was not actually it was not actually Sean, but like the violent, not the violent, like once the scares kick off. I mean, some of it is the violence. I think it was over email, maybe Matilda, you mentioned there's like a scene where he has a cannon, like one of these like whatever potato guns that people build.
Yeah.
He loads it with his own bobblehead, which is in his car. He shoots it through a zombie. The zombie, or like whatever, a demon. Demon has like a hole in its chest, falls on top of the gun, and like slides that. I mean, it's really good physical comedy, but also just absurd. Like, it's so many levels. So I really liked all that. My favorite joke was maybe not my favorite, but one of my favorites was when. So, like, people are, like, submitting videos, which, like, I guess that's a thing that happens on streams. It was sort of like, okay, whatever. It was a nice way to kind of break up a little bit the just him streaming himself the whole time. When someone submits a video and it's, like, the old lady who used to, like, babysit in the house. This is also, like, the way that they do a lot of the, like, narrative forward momentum around, like, the mechanics and the mythos. And she's like, oh, well, I created that whatever hand symbol. It has like a name with the eyeball in the middle. It's like a protective thing.
It was a Hamsa, I think.
A Hamsa. Yeah. Hamsa. Oh, and then the guy who's like filming, it's like his grandmother or something, is like, oh yeah, he destroyed that. And she's like, oh, he's dead.
He's gonna die.
It's just the old lady was great. My only thing, it gets to me, it got like a little long in the tooth when like some of the like the pacing of like the last act. I felt like the last act was happening for half the movie, and that's
it. There's a point at which it devolves into him screaming for like 40 straight minutes.
yeah. And like it's some of those scenes are still good, and like the jump scares got me, as you said. Like it's a lot. Like I actually wish they had pulled some of that somehow into like Act 2. I thought the first
it's very tense. It's very tense even without it, to your point. Like, yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. The first act of this movie is fucking terrifying. Like,
yeah, and it's really creepy.
This is also where like I get somewhat annoyed with found footage. It's too easy. Like, oh, someone is like walking around in the dark and there's like a cone of light and you can't see everything that's going on outside. Like it's scary. Like that is a scary thing to like go through. And even when you're watching the movie, it's scary. So like that's where I get the laziness comes in. They do it well.
But I think it's impressive. Too much. What's impressive is that the movie is so funny and still manages to be so creepy.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So like basically the first up to when she shows up, the woman, which I agree, I thought that was great. And like that is when it kind of like flips a little bit. It's quite scary. And I just wish it had like, I don't know, there's like a way to maybe balance some of that. Again, I'm like somewhat picking nits, but it was like there's maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of just chaos where I was like,
I mean, it's cool. Right. I mean, listen, it is fun though. Like there is some real bananas stuff happening.
Plus, how good is the location that they found for this? I mean, I felt scared for them shooting in this house. It did not look safe.
Where were they? Like I totally agree.
So Rachel and Ariel talked to the directors of this on one of the, this was going to be one of my plugs on More Deadly on our channel.
Plug it.
It's a real haunted house, like it's a real abandoned house that has a lot of local lore, to the point that when they were shooting there, like some of the contractors that they had coming in to build the sets and stuff, like who were locals, did not want to go in.
No shit.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
They're like, oh no, we know about this place and we don't want to go in. Including there was one time when, like, you know, teenagers, it's totally as it would be like a place where teenagers go to drink. They came in one time and teenagers had come in and like destroyed something, or something had happened where they had to like have police there. And they showed up and the police officer sitting in his car, and he's like, thank God you're here. I didn't want to go in by myself. Like, so it's genuine.
It looks very,
location.
it looks very creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The, no, you just did. There was something else. Sorry, go ahead. There was something else I was going to jump on, but go.
Did anybody else get Andy vibes from Sean? There's certain camera angles that it was Andy in like early beard stage.
Like, oh,
you
BGH.
mean Andy Helmkamp?
Like our Andy.
I was like, I know some other Andys. It's possible. Where was the house? Do you know? I'm actually just curious, like where the hell they were. It was so, yeah. It could have been anywhere, right? Like, but.
Well, that's what's part of the fun about this movie. Growing up in the Midwest, and I grew up in a smaller town. It's not like a tiny town, but it was a fairly small town, and a lot of countryside around it. And we had houses like that were abandoned out in the middle of a cornfield somewhere that we go out to be, you know, to have spooky time on the weekends and dare each other to do dumb shit. So that was kind of a really nice connection to this. It made it feel a little nostalgic too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very similar. I mean, not. It reminds you of the Blair Witch House, and then it's just this like full house in the middle of the woods, like for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Eric, I think you mentioned they do a really nice job of establishing all of the space. Some of that is like set up through the architecture of like he's setting up the cameras, but he's explaining each room. It never was like confusing where he was in the space at any time. And that's like a testament to the filmmaking, and like, because there's other movies we've seen and like things we've seen recently where it's like, wait a second, what, where in the fucking house are they at this point, you know?
And it's important to say that, you know, like you're exactly right. They really explained everything of where he was and the space of this place and whatnot, and his explaining it, but it never felt like an info dump. It felt natural.
Totally. Yeah. Matilda mentioned it. I thought this thing could have gone sideways really badly based on just the sort of like design of the technology and the way that it's deployed and the comments. I mean, there's a lot of like UI stuff. I was thinking about this when we were watching. I'm curious, like, do you all think that stuff so it used to be a huge problem. Remember, like, they're all like the Facebook knockoffs that would be in movies, or like even like text messaging in movies used to be so bad. I feel like the baseline on that now is very, very high.
It's much better now, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe there's just like more designer people out there who can do this stuff. Like filmmakers are smarter about it.
Well, and it always used to be some silly name. Like it would just be like My Face or something, like, you know, like if they actually take the time, it's like they actually take the time to workshop what a logic, like it could be, you know what I mean? Like they will actually kind of shoot for some authenticity there for sure.
Well, yeah, a lot of this movie hinges on his iPad and the app that he's running on iPad to manage all these cameras and to interact with his chat screen and stuff, but none of it ever feels forced. It feels realistic and it feels natural. So I don't know. It was working really well, but it's cool.
It was working really well in a place that I would assume the cell reception or the sort of like 5G coverage may not be amazing, but
it's true.
Yeah. Otherwise,
you know. The nerd in me figured that big block that was hanging off the end of his iPad had to be in a hotspot.
Yeah. You know, a lot of I bet there are some streamers that use these. They're expensive, but a lot of local news reporters now, especially in small markets, use don't have live trucks anymore. They use these things they call backpacks that are literally like little 5G superconductor things. Like it's basically like a super powered thing that taps into 5G that lets them beam signals like back to the station. So I don't know.
And do they like they'll do like pickup or like
live shots
2 ways or
Yeah.
Like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because it's expensive, but it's much cheaper than buying and maintaining a satellite truck, basically.
No, totally. I mean, look, he was running like 9 cameras at one point, and
Yeah.
like all through with this one iPad. I mean,
It is like it is kind of funny. Like it's a good. I mean, it's a good part of the movie. Like I love the interaction with the audience. Like I love. If you watch it on a big enough screen, there's so much funny shit happening in the comments. Like the comments are really funny. You don't
some
need
of
them.
are just so mean.
Like the important
it's just
ones, he responds to the important ones. So like it's not stuff you super need, but it's addicting to just watch because it's so good. It's so for someone who spent a lot of time on those things, it's very genuine feeling. Like even down to the like little cute like intentional misspellings and like the ways that they're trolling him and stuff.
Well, even the way they shoehorned in the videos from the fans, like the grandma that Schnars was talking about, and there was a kid early on that had picked up something that he had said and figured out something with the lore and posted a video of it. And there was another lady who translated the Latin that he had talked about and whatnot. They throw those in there too as kind of plot devices.
Yeah, and those
he
are
responds to them naturally. It doesn't feel forced or anything like that. The way he responds to them, and it's usually like when those videos would come up, it's in a moment where he is like in a total panic and like hiding in a closet in there, and he's desperate, and he sees somebody post a video and he's like, oh, what the heck, and hits it, and then they give him information. It felt natural.
And some of those people are like a little forced. Like some of those people are a little cheesy. Like the idea that this just like grandmother's like watching this live stream is kind of funny. But
or
he's
the
up
professor.
to like
the professor,
he's up
right?
to like 9 million people or whatever, or 7 million people by the end. No, one thing that I was thinking about earlier that came back to me, it's a lot of plot. Like there is a lot of fucking,
which I think is actually a
that
good thing
happen.
because otherwise it's just a dude screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah,
it reminded me
so much.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think so much in found footage, there's like not enough information, or there's this thing that kind of tries my patience in found footage sometimes where like it's all off screen, but the camera has fallen. Right. This is like, you're seeing that there's just a fire hose of information coming at him, like comments and like cameras and all these things, which I feel like is a little more realistic.
Yeah.
That you get his sense of how many things he's managing at once.
You know what it is?
Still calling him an asshole throughout half of this when he's getting attacked, and he's responding to him. It's like, give me a break, guys.
You know what it is, John? It's like a modern take on Ghostwatch.
A little bit.
Live streaming from a haunted house. You've got audience interaction. Like it's like a very high-tech, modernized version of Ghostwatch. One of my favorites.
This is a little better because you get a better connection with the person that's going through the house. Because we always have the camera focused on him and he's talking to the camera.
Casey, let's not blaspheme Ghostwatch.
I was gonna say,
I'm not saying
Now you're getting offensive.
I knew he was getting upset.
I know.
I love it.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any favorite scenes before we move on?
My favorite scene is there's one part towards the end of the movie where, and I don't even remember what happens, but he goes into a total panic and he just starts fleeing and he starts running through to upstairs with the one open window we've seen. And as soon as he leaves the window, it cuts to an outside camera showing him jumping out the window.
That's a good shot.
Hilariously to that.
So he sets that camera up right at the very beginning and you never see it. So you know it's got to come back. And it's just for that shot.
But the commitment too for that shot, he came out of that window just pinwheeling with all the arms and legs and everything. It was awesome.
Dude, that shit that he sees in the woods, the like little head monster thing, jacked up, like so terrifying. And to like you're saying, John, it happens in that found footagey way where you've just got this cone of light and all of a sudden it like moves in the woods and this head comes up and you're like, fuck, hell no, I'm out. And then later on in that scene is where like the cop comes and then he shoots him through the chest with the potato gun and then he falls on the gun and slides down it on top of him.
It's like on top of him.
That's just good shit.
The other, like, this was like just a ridiculous. There's a couple moments where things either explode or like do like gross shit onto him. I really appreciated it's at the very, very end of the movie where he like exorcises the demon. She gets sucked down into hell, and then there's like a hell blood burp, just like burps up out of the hole, like all over his face.
There was another great scene with the disgusting bathtub upstairs when he woke up in that bathtub and it like ate an eyeball. We saw that happen.
That scene, I was like, what the fuck is happening in this scene? Like, that was one I was just like, what? This is that was maybe one scene too far. I mean, it was gross and I appreciated what was going on ultimately, but
I just got a laugh out of he injected the holy water into the eye socket of that thing, and there was a pause for like 30 seconds, and then it exploded.
Yeah, I mean,
I really loved all the close-up nose situations.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
So I had watched this like a week or two ago, and then I was just rewatching for the show. Totally forgot about all the like nose violence happening in this movie. Like, it's horrendous.
I love
and
that
if it goes
scene
on long enough that he gets upset, he's like, "Come on!" With
yeah,
this.
I love that scene where Mildred sticks her gnarly ass fingernail up his nose, and he's like,
That's
what
I'm talking about. And she does it twice.
Yeah, it's the second time.
It's just like, man, that's real gross.
It's so gross. Yeah.
All right.
I really love the practical effects of this too. The monsters all seem to be practical, and they were kind of
they
weren't
good.
traditional as far as what you would see in a movie like this with the generic homemade zombie makeup and stuff. They're pretty Technicolor, which gave them a nice 80s weird grindhousey feel. They were just kind of different as far as creatures go.
Now
they walked the line of like
it could have been too much
on purpose.
Now,
which
Matilda,
I enjoyed.
Are these actors the filmmakers as well?
The main actor is the director.
Yeah.
Okay. The female lead, was she part of the production too? Is that who you guys interviewed or someone else?
No, that was his wife was the person that he directed this with, from what Matilda was saying.
Gotcha.
And then
but that's not the
Mildred
actress.
/ Cassie was a separate actress that looks like she has worked with him before, though, because they are together in VHS 99.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know that.
They did make one of the shorts in VHS 99.
Yeah.
It's Ariel who talked to them, and you can hear it over.
Yeah, I pulled it up. I'm a listen.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Anything else about Deadstream before we move on here? You know, watching it again and talking about it, I think it's going to get on my list, John. I'm going to look at that after the break.
This really held up to a second. I was surprised this really held up to a second viewing really well.
Second viewing really benefits it because for me, in the first viewing, when a character is that over the top, you're like, oh God, am I going to be able to take this for 90 minutes? But then once you get through it and you know that you can, it's a much smoother ride the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Would you recommend this, John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
Matilda?
Yes.
Samesies. All right, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
He jumped. I was like, it's okay, honey. You'll be all right.
So you're just on the edge the whole time. Being able to scream in the theater, it's fun.
The best scary movie since The Sixth Sense. You'll have a spooky good time.
You're the scariest movie I've ever seen.
The Ring, rated PG-13. Now playing.
I'm Ray Wise from Twin Peaks, and you are listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
Jonathan Schnars.
Mm.
So last week, I put Bodies into my number 9. I think Bodies will go down this year as the movie that spent the least amount of time on my top 10 list because I think for now, I'm bumping Bodies. I'm putting Deadstream at 9. I need to rewatch Pearl and just give it a second chance because it didn't grab me the first time. I know a lot of people love that one. So unless we see something just amazing the next couple weeks, in which case I won't bother. Save me time. So there you go. That's my top 10 list. Info at bloodygoodhorror.com's email address. But before we do that, if you check your Patreon feed, if you get your Patreon feed, John, this is it's a podcast feed basically that you get from Patreon when you sign up at any level. On that feed, you get early release episodes of this show. You get classics every Monday. John, we were just looking pre-show. What came out this Monday?
Babadook.
The Babadook.
Babadook.
So I put in there too, if anyone's interested, like original air dates. So this was episode 309, originally aired, and it's always in the same time of year, 11/16/2014. Remember what you were doing in 2014, John? I have no goddamn idea what I was doing.
I actually, I might have been in Indonesia. This was like right around the time.
Indonesia? Wow.
Yeah, I was.
Do not remember that.
Yeah.
I think it was a brief period of time, like a year and a half. I was living in New York before I moved back to Boston, and then back to New York, and yeah.
Yeah, you actually bought a house at that point, didn't you?
Yeah, I've owned a house for a year and a half of my life. So the other thing going on, there's a new spin-off show that the first episode showed up this week. It's called How Do You Horror? It's hosted by Whitney, contributor to the website. Episode 1 is Rosemary's Baby with Caitlin Grant. And basically, I'll just read you the description, John. How Do You Horror is a new show for patrons featuring folks from the BGH community talking about their favorite horror movies, but with a twist. Each episode features a one-sentence synopsis of the film, something Schnars could never do. She spells your name wrong too, which I like. I
think did she? I thought she spelled it correctly.
Nope. Schnarrs.
Oh,
No, I saw it, but I left it there intentionally.
No, fair enough.
And a 10-question quiz for the guest. Play along and see what your score is. How well do people really know their favorite horror movie? So her and Caitlin talk about Rosemary's Baby, and I think we're going to try to get another episode kick in for December. So I think you may end up hearing some of us on that show as well. Probably not Schnars is my guess, but maybe me and Casey.
What the hell?
I'll have her reach out. I'll have her call your people, John.
Yeah. She can text me.
Info at bloodygoodhorror.com. This is exciting news. Caitlin Kissimmee writes in, the last broadcast is on Shudder now. Congratulations, Eric. I'm actually hoping maybe some good energy could go towards Yellow Brick Road finally showing up. Caitlin Kissimmee. So it's been a while since I've gone on a soliloquy, John, about the last broadcast, but we did a show on it. If you recall, this was a staff pick of mine like years ago, like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
The last broadcast is a found footage movie. It was a contemporary of the Blair Witch Project. And the lore behind it was that both of these films were actually being produced in Orlando at the same, like Blair Witch was being post-produced in Orlando because that's where all those guys were living at the time. And so was this movie was being shot as well and produced. And these guys actually had some like run-ins with each other. I talk about some of it. I wrote an article for Horror Hound years ago about Blair Witch. And there was kind of some beef between these guys for a little bit because when it came out, they were like, you stole our thing. But anyway, it's a pretty enjoyable little found footage horror movie.
Remember, guys, I write for the magazine.
I did.
That's all I can think of right now.
it's pertinent to the conversation, Casey. But at the end, like I remember, so Ed Sanchez told me basically that. So you remember those Blair Witch spinoffs on like Sci-Fi Channel that were like mini documentaries?
Sure don't.
Okay, so there were multiple mini documentaries that aired on Sci-Fi Channel around the time Blair Witch came out. All that were like interviews, like the kind of things you'd see in a modern found footage movie. All of that stuff was supposed to be in Blair Witch, Blair Witch was not originally just the found footage. And Ed Sanchez, on a break one day, went to a local theater and saw this movie, The Last Broadcast, like fully done, and was like, shit, if we put our movie out the way it is, people are going to say we like ripped this off. So that led to them in post-production going back to the drawing board and deciding to just cut out all of the documentary stuff. And then they had it all to repurpose for these specials or whatever. It is kind of bootleg. It's not as good as Blair Witch, but I love it. It's real creepy. It's a weird little vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know that I watched it. Like, I believe we did it as a staff pick, but maybe I missed that episode or something. I'm like looking at it.
This was back in the day when you were just there for episodes, John.
Like, maybe we didn't all watch the episode that, or they all.
No, I don't know. I remember because I remember Joe super didn't like it. I can't remember what Casey. Do you even remember seeing this?
Yeah, it's funny because I remember being introduced to this movie the first time. We used to have a local DVD store called the Laser's Edge in Carmel, Indiana. They were a big online seller.
The Laser's Edge. I fucking love that.
But we used to go in there a lot because it was near work, and we'd always my buddy was a big DVD collector. We'd go in there a lot during the week and check out what they had. And I remember Wayne, the owner of the store, telling me he pulled out Last Broadcast because he knew what I liked. He's like, hey, I just got this in, I think you'd like it. And so I rented it, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And if you love found footage, like, I think it's a pretty important kind of, I don't know what the word is, milestone. Yeah. It's a good one to have under your belt if you're into found footage and sort of the history of the subgenre. So
yeah, definitely, I'd call it a must watch.
It's funny she wrote in because right before I saw the email, I went to Shudder looking because I wanted to rewatch Deadstream. Was like, The Last Broadcast. There we are. And Yellow Brick Road is an amazing horror movie that no one's seen, and the people who do don't like, and they're wrong.
That's not found footage, though, is it?
I feel like there might be found footage elements.
I think there's
of it.
Parts that are.
It goes back and forth, I think. I fucking love that movie.
That one, but
that's a movie where like that should be a staff pick for me, but I don't want to have anybody not like it.
He doesn't want to hear about it.
I'm too close to it.
That's fair. I was nervous the same way for making you guys watch Six String Samurai.
Some of us care about things, John. Okay.
Yeah.
Caitlin, one more email. Have you heard of Night of the Tommyknockers? Yes, please. Western horror. John, stand up.
I mean, I did. You had me at Western horror.
What is it? Isn't Tommyknockers a Stephen?
You lost me at Night of the Tommyknockers.
What is that? Yeah, I have no idea.
All I could think of is that awful Stephen King movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's Tommyknockers real bad.
Also not a Western.
Is it? I'm looking it up, but is it recent?
I didn't Google it. I just pulled this pre-show. I did not look into it.
Night of the Tommyknockers.
Yeah, it's a 2022.
Interesting. Tom Sizemore.
Oh, they got him?
They got
him.
And
Richard Grieco.
Oh my goodness. There's a cast.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope they've got a couple of lawyers on retainer for all the domestic violence that's going to be happening on that set.
This is not inspiring a ton of confidence, but
Casey, what do you do? Twitter. What's on Twitter tonight?
Yes, we have Twitter. Use the Ask BGH hashtag. Ask us dumb questions. We'll give you dumb answers. First up, we got our good friend at Skizbot. Me and my lady just turned 40. Any words of wisdom from my BGH elders?
I also just turned 40, so I'm really still reeling from all that. I don't know. And also in the year that I've turned 40, my entire body has rebelled against me. So
I was gonna say, start making sure you have ibuprofen on hand.
You know what? Actually, that's not true. I do have advice. Stretching. Stretching and
sit down
and stretching and mobility exercises. Legit. I was getting to the point, especially working remote, where if I had to pick some shit up, it was like an ordeal. And I'm like, okay, I need to start doing something. So
stretching is huge.
Any kind of exercising, if you get a TRX, that's the cables you put on your door. There's a lot of really great shit you can do that will just both stretch your body out and make you more nimble. Because man, it's all downhill from here, dude. You got to maintain that shit, or it's just gonna get worse.
take a walk every day too. I mean, even something simple as that is
I'm
good
not-
to keep you busy.
Yeah,
healthy.
I'm not good about that, but I just saw the other day that there's like a huge positive correlation between walking and longevity, and it also goes in the reverse. Like people who don't walk a lot just die younger.
Yeah.
I'm not doing great on that scale.
I recommend walking before work. It's like a great way to wake yourself up.
When you live in New York City, you actually just have to walk everywhere. So
Yeah.
I would love that, John, but I live in the stupid
This is
suburbs.
the Midwest. We don't walk anywhere.
We're here.
All right.
Yeah, and you have to do a lot of stairs.
The only places around here where I could live in a walkable community, I could also get shot while I'm being walkable. So it's not ideal.
Okay, this next tweet comes from us from a very important place. Comes from Senator Chuck Grassley, parody. And I'm also reading it as it's written. Good morning. I would like you to turn in the person on your staff that shitted my pants. Thank you.
I mean, do we have to have a serious conversation about like how long we can use Twitter as like a resource for the show? Right? Like,
I mean, yeah, this went down during the whole blue check debacle of last week. I feel like it's a whole epic of history now. Here's the thing, because I've actually stopped using Twitter that much, except we use it for some things, but I will gleefully observe as a social media site burns down. But now I'm at this point where like the Facebook's burning down, and I'm like, oh, actually, like Facebook's a huge part of the revenue that pays my salary. And with Twitter, like, dude, we have like 80,000 followers in Twitter. Like, I'm not sure how much that actually translates into like helping us. It's probably a lot of bots, but like it's by far our biggest social following. So I don't really want Twitter to just go up in flames. Like,
but Elon's going to clean out the bots.
Oh,
the bots
okay.
are going to be gone.
Sure
so
yeah. It's like I'm too old. It's like I'm too old.
We're closer to Twitter not existing at all than we are to like it being a like viable, useful site.
I agree. Like I feel like it could just go belly up. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, any day. Like the reality is it's going to stop working at some point because all the engineers are leaving, and then
or they've been fired.
Like our
I live
website,
pretty close to headquarters. I live one city over from headquarters, and I'm a couple layers out from hearing some.
It's wild.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
I mean, in the early days of social media, there was so much turnover, and then it was like MySpace. But really, this like Facebook, Twitter duopoly has just been forever. I mean, obviously, there's a lot newer shit now, but it seems wild for either of those to be like potentially going down.
Facebook's struggling too because they just laid off a bunch of people too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up
I did enjoy those Chuck Grassley, I poop my pants tweets. Thank you to whoever sent those.
Yeah, they were so fun, and if you look at the account, there's a lot of them.
There's like 8 tweets. Yeah.
Yeah, all about shitting his pants.
Were they all to ask
Only one of us was to us.
They were just like randomly spamming other people. All right, cool. Oh, Chuck.
There's a lane of like, you wouldn't have like seen this, John, but like there is a lane of BGH Twitter commenter who all they use Twitter for is to send an Ask BGH. Like you go to their account, they follow no one, they've tweeted like 10 times, and it's all to us. I love those people.
Yeah, no, that's our people.
Right? That's our people.
We love you. I salute you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, next up at Miles on Film. If Sean from Deadstream was a real-life internet personality, would you follow his content?
No.
Also, what are some non-horror content creators that you guys regularly follow? Keep up the great work.
I would 100% watch him get murdered in a haunted house. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like if I was on Twitter and I saw a link and was like, hey, this guy's dying in haunted, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I click on that. I'd watch that. But like I can't watch this kind of YouTuber. It's beyond
I wouldn't
me.
watch him fight a bum.
I watched a Mr. Beast video the other day, like not the whole thing, and it was like 25 minutes long, and I like kind of fast forwarded a little bit. I don't know, like I get it. I get why people watch this stuff.
Yeah,
but,
so there is on Twitch, there's like a lot of I mean, now like people of all ages have Twitch channels. Like you can find 40-year-old dads with Twitch channels. So like there's lots of if you search, you can find people that are kind of in your wheelhouse, you know what I mean? Like I always recommend Dr. Lupo to people, Lupo. He's like in his mid-30s and he's got a kid and he's pretty down to earth. Like he raises a lot of money for St. Jude, and like it's not manic tween energy, right? Which is like what you fear when you're getting into that stuff. But
yeah, all my social media browsing is on Instagram. I recommend Speaking in Rainbows. She's an artist that does sculptures out of foam clay, and she does some really amazing stuff. So I would look her up.
Nice. Yeah, I'd have to look at my Twitch. There's like a lot more that I follow. But
I know. I tend to follow like famous internet animals more.
Nice.
That's all I feel like.
Actually, I have a great recommendation. If you like weed, okay, there's this band I follow. They're called.
Do you like weed?
Listen. They're called the Fantastic Plastics, and they're based out of your neck of the woods somewhere, like Midwest somewhere. But they are like modern new wave, like very faithful early 80s new wave. It's like he's on a guitar and she's on a keyboard. And they live stream like once or twice a week. They do whole sets, they do covers, and they have original music. But they have just dedicated their time to making like the trippiest live stream possible. Like crazy colors and green screen things and trails, and like it is amazing. Like you tune into that stream and you're feeling good, and you can just sit there and zone out for the rest of the night.
That's a great recommend, actually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like if you need to relax and listen to some music, it's great. And I love new wave, so it's great.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
All right, next up from Erie, Arizona. Should I be worried that my prostate doctor is talking about a Deadstream and not referring to this week's movie?
It sounds like you might have a going problem, sir.
Yeah.
No, what's
All
that?
right.
What's the commercial? It's a growing problem, not a going problem.
Next up from @DrakeDangerson1, struggling to come up with a question for the movie. What's the most unique side dish that you have had for Thanksgiving that really worked with the overall meal?
When I lived in Florida, my Florida relatives put oysters in their stuffing, and it was actually really good. That's apparently like a coastal thing. I got like a Florida thing.
Nice.
That's a hard no.
It's a hard no. I know. There's a local brewery that
mean,
puts
they're-
oysters in their beer.
They're
A hard no.
cooked. They're not
I've
like
had
raw.
the-
They're not raw, at least.
Is it one of them down in Maryland does the oyster like an oyster stout.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had a wide variety of sides, and like I can't think of one that I would say is most unique. I celebrate them all. I'm the person that's like, I'll get a little bit of everything, and I go back and I get the things that I thought were particularly good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're
I can't
not
think of
having a
anything
second
that
round,
odd
you're
either.
not doing it right. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not having a second round usually.
I mean, the weirdest I can remember is my uncle used to cook like a regular turkey and did like 2 smoked turkeys
Oof,
in
sounds
addition for Thanksgiving. and
delicious.
that smoked turkey was delicious.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not a big meat eater, so it's all about the sides for me. But this time of year, we're always trying to get rid of. We have like a fuyu persimmon tree, so we're always trying to get rid of our last fuyus before the raccoons come and get them. And
do
if
they
you
wait? They're
matchstick them,
like, no, we'll wait. You like, do the
well,
raccoons
they
not
leave
get them
them
right
up
away?
there till they ferment, and then they get drunk in the tree,
Ooh.
which is not awesome.
Wow.
And then they're loud drunks. So, but if you matchstick those little firm persimmons and blend them with sauteed green beans, they're actually pretty good, like caramelized.
I had
Until you got to get a Twitch stream set up for these raccoons. Like,
Yes.
This is like.
Yeah.
IRL. I had dried persimmons recently. They're delicious.
Yeah, those are probably fuyus. Those are the kinds I have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're really good.
Eric, have you let them ferment?
Apparently. Yeah.
You can have
Well,
a great time.
I'm a human, John. I can just go to the store and buy liquor.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't need
fair.
to make prison persimmon wine.
Yeah, it's not a weird side as far as Thanksgiving goes, but my mom has to make 2 different batches of corn casserole for Thanksgiving every year, so my brother-in-law and I don't fight.
Yeah, my father and I both cannot eat gluten, so there's always like multiple, gluten and gluten-free versions.
All right, last up we have At the Nun Club. With the recent roles of Joseph Winter as Sean in Deadstream and Justin Long as AJ in Barbarian, are we entering a male scream queen renaissance? If not, can we be?
I mean, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. They got to be, I mean,
I kept
using those comparisons, they got to be kind of unlikable, though, right?
Right.
Well, yeah.
I mean, there is something about both of those. I don't want to say too much for people who haven't seen both of those movies, but there is something about the kind of like non-redemption arc
Right.
of that's happening currently. About,
Yeah, I mean,
like,
he doesn't-
It doesn't have to be a redemption arc.
Like, he doesn't really get that in this. Like, he basically admits, like, I wasn't sorry at all. Like, you still root for him because you're scared, but like, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, but you're also fine with him.
Yeah, you don't
getting
care.
it at-
Yeah,
in
yeah.
both movies. Like,
I
mean,
think
Justin Long's
for
like
me,
the bad guy in Barbarian. Isn't
here's
that
the thing for me. Like, watching another character in danger makes me feel in danger enough to like kind of root for that character to at least survive. Like, because
Yeah,
it just is
yeah. I
scary to
mean,
watch somebody fucking die. Like,
I think it's different in they're slightly different because, especially in Barbarian, where the woman, I can't remember her name, is still like, you know that she's still alive at a certain point, and then you're like, oh, all right, but
Yeah. I would say Sean has a little bit of a redemption arc character-wise in this movie, whereas AJ in Barbarian is still a douche throughout and proves it.
Yeah. And there is something that I was wondering about watching this one and thinking about Barbarian, about like, is there a different experience that we're after about watching people who were not upset about getting tortured
Yeah.
in a certain way, right? Like, I think about like Aronofsky movies where he kind of like puts somebody through an ordeal who arguably does not deserve an ordeal, but in both of these, does it give us a little bit of Schadenfreude or something?
Oh yeah, I mean that's like pretty standard genre fare in some. I'm not standard like, but it's that's a category of genre fare where it's like, here's a shitty person, and like you're gonna see them get punished effectively.
Right, whereas Scream Queen is not a shitty person necessarily, right? It's usually kind of like the
No,
moral
I would
center
say
of something.
no, a Scream Queen's
They have to be like absolutely.
no, a
nuts,
Scream
shitty.
Queen's like mom is dead, and they're like they like do
So-
charity.
As pertaining to the tweet, maybe not necessarily a male Scream Queen resurgence, but there is something happening.
Scream King, first
Yeah.
of all. But yeah.
And that's it for Twitter. What do you got on Instagram, Eric?
First up, have you guys listened to the podcast We're Alive, A Story of Survival?
No.
No.
I have not.
I've not heard of it also.
Is it a fiction or a nonfiction?
You have to Google it, John. I didn't do that much work.
Okay. I will do that while you
Listen,
keep talking.
if people are going to recommend stuff, I'm actually not being a dick here. If people are going to recommend stuff, be like, ... it's a podcast about blah, blah, blah. So like,
or
then I don't have to Google.
Send a link to the
Because I'm probably not, and then this is going to happen.
Oh, it's a zombie podcast.
You know me, so that's on you, is what I'm saying. It's a pod.
The website is pretty slow to load. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a fiction podcast, a zombie situation, but in any event.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, any plans to cover Bones and All? Again, I don't know what that is.
I really want to watch it.
Can you give me an elevator pitch?
So it's the new movie from, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name. The first name is Luca. He's the guy who did Suspiria, the Suspiria remake. He's made a bunch of other like wild.
I just
fun
rewatched
movies.
that Suspiria remake recently. It fucks.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
I watched it like way after it came out, and it's so much better than I was expecting.
Hot take. I think it's better than Suspiria.
Yeah, it's 100% better.
That's not a hot take to you, John. That's a hot take to the horror internet.
Don't get me started on Dario Argento. So it's Luca. His last name's like Gardarelli or something. I'm sure I'm
It's
getting it wrong.
Girardelli. It's delicious chocolate.
Guadagnino.
Guadagnino. All right. But it's Timothy Chalamet. I think it's like a
Cannibal movie.
horror comedy / like zombie. I don't know.
I do like that.
I read a.
I do like that Chalamet fellow.
He's great. Love the Chalamet. So it's on my list. Whether or not we're gonna get to it.
Yeah,
it's in
I don't
theaters
know.
right now, I think.
Oh yeah, that might be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
if it's
that
going to
could
get to
be a
streaming
problem.
by the end of the year. We'll see.
It's listed as a romance drama.
Interesting.
But I think it's like you
I
know,
think it's
somebody has to like steal organs to like keep their friend alive. It's like a dark romance situation.
Sounds like some Cronenberg bullshit, if you're asking me. No, John, did you not hear me?
Sorry, what was it?
I said it sounds like some Cronenberg bullshit, is what it sounds like to me.
Nah, come on.
Artists are growing organs, and it's art.
Well, it's a dark romance.
Can you think of a more? Is that going to be in your top 10 list this year, John? That movie, that Cronenberg joint?
Probably not. I haven't sat down to do the top 10 yet.
It's not great. Can you think of a more punchable main character in recent memory? You know, intentionally punchable, but pretty funny.
I mean, definitely not.
Which social media personality would you want to lock in a haunted house overnight?
One of the Pauls.
Do politicians count?
Can you do all of them? Like, is that
one Paul is like
all into one haunted house?
That one Paul has been signed by the WWE and is apparently like killing it. Like he's doing really well.
Well, the one's like a legitimate boxer.
That one. It's the boxer one.
I don't know about legitimate, but he's a boxer.
He's fighting like.
Apparently, he did really well against Roy Jones Jr. I mean, he's old, but still.
No, he's fighting like weird. I don't watch that much boxing, and I'm sure there's like boxers who would straight murder him, but it's he's smart. He's put it this way, he's making more money than literally every other boxer that's
I mean that's that's kind of
like,
what modern boxing for me is at this point. It's just like
he's pulling in way more money than anybody at his level of boxing should be. I'll give him credit there.
Yeah.
I, as a child, was I went with my dad to one of his friend's house, and I watched. I couldn't have been. What year did Tyson bite Holyfield's ear off?
Yeah, it was like 91, maybe 92.
Yeah, so I was 9, maybe 10, and watched him watch that live and bite that dude's fucking ear off on pay-per-view.
I used to watch a lot of boxing with my grandfather, my mom's dad, before, when he was around. I've seen a lot of fights. I don't think I saw that one live. I think we probably
Matilda, you a big boxing fan?
Speaking
it hasn't
of
been
just,
a thing for me.
Just because you brought up that match, Eric, I did read an article this week that Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield have come together to launch a cannabis-infused edible company called Holy Ears. And that's not a joke.
I thought you were going to say they were going to fight again. Yeah, it's weird. It's like very against everything of my personality, but I weirdly enjoy boxing. I used to watch it when I was younger a lot. Not MMA so much. I don't really get MMA, but that's a lie. I dig 15-second MMA clips on like TikTok. That's just somebody getting the shit knocked out of them, like just dying.
Yeah.
I could actually watch a boxing match. MMA, I just want to see the part where somebody like kicks somebody in the head and they pass out. For the record.
He's an enlightened human.
I'm a Renaissance man, John.
Yeah.
John, this question is mostly for you. Will we ever see another Spooktacular?
Probably not. I mean, y'all can do one. I'm not telling you to not do one, but
I mean, in many ways, live streaming this show for patrons every week sort of replaced that feeling. Like we just never, part of the excitement of Spooktaculars was we never got together on video before, really, like in that way. And like, then we started doing it for patrons every week, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. And it took the wind out of the sails a little bit. We also got old, like drinking is what makes Spooktaculars fun. And like, there's no night that I'm just going to get rip shit so I can watch a movie.
I was going to say, like, if there's a week where my whole family is gone and I'm in my apartment by myself, like, I'm happy to show up, like, loaded to the show.
You let me know. We'll schedule around you, buddy. Let me know when you get out to that country house by yourself.
I mean, I'm waiting for that to happen. I'll call out of work the next day. I'm not above that.
Was it a Spooktacular or a year-end show where you started the show drinking vodka at your Google office?
No, it was the 500th episode, I think.
You were like real shitty by the end of that episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you found it in a coworker's mini fridge or something.
But I always like to say this: if you go to Bloody Good Horror, search YouTube, you could queue up a movie with us. Like we do the countdown on the video, and like you could watch it and relive it with us.
Yeah, I don't
in real
say
time.
that to a lot of people. So.
Well, I'm saying it right now.
And I will take I'll take the moment to plug our Slack too. If you become a patron, there are weekly like group live watchings of movies going on every Sunday night.
Watch and chat channel.
Watch and chat channel that they're always picking out a new movie to watch, and there's a group of people that are watching those and chatting. And there's usually a really active group chatting for any of the new Joe Bobs or the Cinematic Void episodes, if you've ever heard of that show.
And we got a couple real nutters that will like stay up all night and watch that shit.
Yeah.
So like, if you're a night owl, it's fun. Not so much for me, but I appreciate that it's there. I'm in the Joe Bob chat usually, at least for the first like 20 minutes before I die. If you had to die on a past BGH live stream, which episode would it be?
That one where I was drinking in my work office.
I mean, why am I dying? I don't,
Probably whichever one it was that I fell asleep in the middle of.
How many times did you feel your nose twitch like you needed to wipe your nose after watching this? I think they're talking about all the nose poking and
Yeah. I wasn't too bothered by that.
It is what it is. I watch my kids pick their nose all the time, so.
Oh, do your kids show it to you? That's what my oldest does. She wants to show me what she got.
No, well, are you kidding me? Like I like shame them as aggressively as possible. So then they like hide and they'll be like,
"Oh, I don't care." No, I'm like, "Cool." I'm like, "Cool, dude, looking good." Because my kids have yet to fully master like blowing their nose, which is really annoying when like I can hear they just need to clear something out. So if they get something out, I'm like, I'm high-fiving, dude. I mean, after the snot is gone, but like
Eric, we could focus this energy on helping them learn to blow their nose. That's like my older two can like blow their nose fine.
My favorite is my 4-year-old will like blow out of like you put the tissue up to her nose and she's like blowing at her mouth and you're just like, that's not hold the mouth closed, you know. Kids are funny. I heard Schnars needed a Snickers last week. Did he have one? I said you were unhappy about the movie last week, so somebody suggested that you eat a Snickers.
Yeah, I've had a couple Snickers. I've been stealing them for my kids' Halloween candy. So, yeah.
2 more questions. Name a group of more annoying characters. I said easy. Have you seen VHS 99? Because every character in that movie is unbearable. Unbearable.
Yeah, I'm definitely not watching that.
Last question of the evening. We get this one every year, but I'll answer it every year until I die. What is the best and worst Thanksgiving foods?
I mean, the turkey is probably my number one.
Yeah, turkey doesn't really. It's like a dry, weird. Unless you're smoking it, like Casey's wrote. Like, but turkey's just dry.
No, I mean, but like well done turkey. Turkey with the
it's fine.
Cranberry sauce on it. You gotta get to your point. If it's dry, get a little.
I'm gonna guess you take some fancy ass cranberry sauce.
Suzanne makes the cranberry sauce.
Yeah, see, I don't. I'm only doing in the can, and even then, I'm not really into it. So
we do the can and the homemade, just to be clear.
That's the way to go.
You gotta
that way you cover all your bases.
Yeah.
I would argue that turkey is better the next day on Friday when it's cold and you put it on 2 pieces of white bread with some mayonnaise and a little bit of salt and some cheese. That is awesome.
Whoa. If you're having a sandwich the next day and you're not putting the extra stuffing on there, you're cheating yourself.
Honestly, I'm just not into turkey.
I have the stuffing, but just not on the sandwich.
Matilda, what about you?
I would say turkey is maybe my worst, but stuffing is probably my number one.
Yeah, I do like stuffing. Anything with green beans, I find green beans to be a vile vegetable and don't want them anywhere. I'll eat vegetables. I cannot do green beans. They're disgusting.
I'll eat the green beans. I'm fine with that.
Green bean casserole. I don't love them.
Especially cooked ones. Like something about the consistency. I don't like how watery they are when they're cooked. And I'll eat a raw green bean, but you give me a cooked one, you bite it, and it's all just spits water in your mouth. Like, ugh.
Yeah, you gotta have it
practically raw.
You got to have it in the casserole with like the cream of mushroom soup and the onion sprinkles on top.
You're turning my stomach right now.
That's the good stuff.
Eric, have you had the green bean pickles you can get? I actually really like those.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be. Yeah, that might be up my alley. That sounds good. My favorite
pickled asparagus is really good too, John. And
I'll take anything pickled, really.
My mom makes the best coleslaw in the world. This is a thing I've pontificated on many times in the show. The key is there's a couple keys. You got to get.
Wait, is it a vinegar or a?
It's mayo and vinegar and sugar. So like the key, you get that perfect match of like fat, vinegar, sweetness, and salt. It's all there. But the other key is you have to like hardcore shred all the vegetables. Like those vegetables should be like paper thin, because then they just become a vehicle for the sauce and it like soaks it all up. And that's the kind of like, she makes a kind of coleslaw you can literally spread as a condiment, like on a sandwich. Like nothing makes, like I love coleslaw, but nothing makes me angry. Like I'm so reluctant to order in a restaurant because like you'll order coleslaw and some random, and they'll just bring you like a cabbage they've sliced twice, but just throw some vinegar on. You're like, get this the hell off my table. Like get this away from me.
Yeah.
Like the breadth of what people consider coleslaw is a crime. And so like you never know what you're going to get. Like you got to ask.
But like coleslaw at Thanksgiving is non-traditional.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean it's just so good. I don't know.
I mean, I would eat that. Like what you're describing, I'm here for it.
My traditional answer is pumpkin pie. Like that's why I am there for pumpkin pie. That's pretty much it.
That is not a side, my friend. That is a dessert.
Whatever. So what's
It's delicious.
That counts.
I don't know. If we were counting desserts, like my whole, you know.
I'm also mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I love mashed potatoes. Love.
That's how I tolerate turkey, is by putting them dipping it in the mashed potatoes.
I put it all together. Like I'm not
Yeah.
eating individual foods. It's a fucking slop fest.
Yeah.
And I love every minute of it.
You got to have a forkful with some turkey and some mashed potatoes and some stuffing on there, maybe a couple green beans, and get
guys,
all
my
in one
mouth
bite.
is watering right now. We got to stop. We got to cut this.
John's getting frothy over here. All right. Do we know what we're doing next week? Did we decide?
Smile.
I think.
Cool.
Matil, have you seen Smile?
I haven't, but there's a lively group chat about it that suggests I need to watch it because it's a psychologist that is the main character.
I mean, I only know that from the trailer,
I
but
know.
it's streamable now.
I know.
What's it on, Casey?
It is on Peacock, I believe. Peacock or Paramount.
I know absolutely nothing about it. I haven't seen a trailer. All I know about is they did that viral marketing at the baseball games where they had creepy people smiling in the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty smart. I dig that. All right. Matilda, where can people find you?
Anyone can find us at ZG Podcasts on all the socials. That's probably the easiest place. And we also have an excellent Patreon thing going on right now. In our Discord, we're having a group watch of Dragula, Shudder's Dragula, and we have a whole like fantasy bracket point system going on that Rachel and I are the co-commissioners of.
That's awesome.
And people get a prize at the end.
Related to Brothers? Is that the Boulay Brothers on Shudder?
It is. So we've done group watches of that with our patrons the last couple of years, and it's been super fun. So.
Love it. Check that out, Zombie Girls. And I'm gonna listen to this interview with the Deadstream people because now I'm curious. Follow me on Spotify, HY-FY. I've just put some new music out around Halloween, and I'm working on an EP right now. It's like spooky synthwave with a little bit of metal spilled in there. Just a little bit, just a smidge. Casey?
Find me on Instagram, cinema.fromage.
And find Schnars next to that yarn place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true.
There you go. All right, everyone. That's it's gonna do it for Deadstream. Are we doing? I guess we could do a Wednesday show. Are we recording it? We haven't talked about for recording.
Casey just texted us.
Yeah,
There's a text.
We'll get it in. So we may be back next week for Thanksgiving. We'll see. And we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.